Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
hello, 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 Savannah. Hello, Savannah. Hello, Savannah. And happy Monday. It is a pleasure to be with you again tonight on this not so wet Monday. Last Monday it was raining, wet and cold. We have a little bit of a better day. And we are approaching spring fever. But just before spring fever, we have Black History Month. And tonight, I have individuals from our fine city of Savannah, from our neighbors in Garden City and Port Wentworth, telling us about their Black History programs and extending an invitation to all in the coastal empire to participate. I want to first start with Rufus Bright and Teresa Lake from Port Wentworth to talk about their Black History programs and events. I'm so happy to have with us tonight Miss Taylor Washington of Two Chefs, Miss Mona Lisa Monroe. It's good to see you from your show. And who? Oh my gosh, you were able to make it, Miss Norcutt from Guyton.
Hello.
Yes, we're going to have a great evening. I'm so excited. And then we have the incomparable and intrepid Dr. Amir Jamal Toure, who will help us tie in the importance of keeping the spirit of our culture alive and bringing into focus some of the present events that are plaguing our community and to let you know how you can engage and get involved. Councilman Bright, Rufus Bright, and Teresa Lake, you guys take it away and tell us about this awesome event you are planning.
Mr. Rufus?
Let's start with the date. When is it?
It's Saturday, February 18th, and it's going to be at City Hall with the City of Port Wentworth. It's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And this is the first, will this be the first annual Black History event in Port Wentworth?
The very first, yes.
Go figure.
Well, we figure, Ms. Kesha, is because they haven't had any Black history thing in Port Wentworth for over 66 years. That's when the city was established. With the idea of Miss Lake and myself on the forefront, we decided to push for this effort because it's long overdue. So now we're pushing it, and it seems like it's getting bigger and bigger each day. I give Miss Lake all of kudos because it was an idea that she brought forth to me, and we ran with it. And right now it's becoming more and more acceptable, but we still will have resistance because people don't want to have anything for us. Bottom line. And we're pushing it, and Miss Lake is pushing it, and we're working each day to make Port Wentworth a better city. I don't know if everybody associated with the sundown terminology, but that's what Port Wentworth was. And we're fighting to change that face that Port Wentworth had to a place that is welcoming everybody. Go ahead,
Tell
Ms.
us a
Lake.
little bit about the whole notion of sundown. For there are some people who may not know what that means or what that meant.
Sundown means that if you're not born in Port Wentworth, I was raised up in Port Wentworth, at 6 o'clock, you had to leave that city because Ku Klux Klan, or you had the possibility of being lynched, shot, killed. That's the bottom line. So you made sure you was out of Port Wentworth by that time. A quarter to 6, you made sure you was way away from Port Wentworth.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Wow.
deep. And so it sounds as if Port Wentworth is poised and ready for this type of event. It sounds like people are wanting to interject and to infuse the community with some culture that everybody can embrace.
It's well needed. It's well needed. I'm originally from Baltimore. So when I moved here, it was unheard of not to have celebrations like Black History Month and Juneteenth. That's what I was raised around. So I was upset when I felt like the city of Port Wentworth didn't do their part when it came to the Martin Luther King Jr. parade. And that's what
Ooh-wee.
kicked me into gear to do this celebration for Black History Month. And from there, we've already started planning our Juneteenth celebration.
Awesome, awesome. And we are hopeful that you all will collaborate with the organizers here in Savannah of Juneteenth. And we have Tybee, who now hosts Juneteenth events, as well as Pooler. And I'm sure Garden City is going to, well, no, Garden City started about 2 years ago hosting Juneteenth events. So, it's we're catching on fire with African American culture here in the Coastal Empire. And it is only through these type of efforts whereby we keep the culture alive, we invoke pride among our young people, because I think that's the one missing link when it comes to the lack of love, togetherness, and unity that trickles over into our community and erode at the fabric of the Coastal Empire as it relates to crime and Black on Black crime in particular. So, what is the date again, the location? And you all have an amazing lineup of vendors, crafts, artists, entertainment. Give us a date and that time and location again.
It is Saturday, February 18th, 2023. It's at the City of Port Wentworth City Hall, which is 7224 Georgia Highway 21. And it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we have all types of vendors, free haircuts, a section for the children. I'm looking forward to the storytelling and the history telling, all of that. So yes, we have a lot.
Well, thank you so much, and stay with us because you may be able to chime into the conversation as we go forth. But first, I want to hear from Miss Garden City.
Wow.
Monroe, listen. We want to thank you so much for holding up this end of the county over in Garden City. Truly, we really appreciate the work that you and Mr. Gary Monroe do from activism level. You don't have to do what you do, but because of all that you do, the citizens of Garden City are far more engaged, knowledgeable, educated, and they are paying attention to the political process there in Garden City. Now, tell us, what is happening with the Taste of Culture food truck fundraiser and art contest?
Oh my goodness. Oh, yes. Party people in the place. We need you guys at the place February the 11th, Black History event, the first in years here in Garden City.
Wow.
A taste of culture. So what that entails is we've got some food trucks that, of course, is basically Jamaican style food. We've got old school barbecue food. We've got Hispanic, like the Mexican restaurant food. We tried to reach out to every culture that represents Garden City to just have them have a taste of culture. And as far as the children go, we have an art contest. Now, this is what's really good. So kindergarten up to senior level, we want them to draw, paint their favorite African-American hero. And when I tell you, we've got the cutest art that we have received so far from Garrison. I think it's called Garrison Art School. Yes. Don't let me lie.
Here in Savannah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. And one picture of Martin Luther King will make you want to frame it. But I'm not a judge, so I can't go there. But we've got 3 judges that's going to judge these absolutely amazing pieces of art by our children. And of course, the kindergartens are not going against the seniors or anything like that. We've got it fair. But we had art come in from the different schools. Now, we would like to reach out to even more schools if they can, get their application in. And I'm going to also make sure you guys get that, as well as the flyer as well. Now, getting down to the good stuff, baby, let me tell you something. We were going to have it at the farmers market here in Garden City, because what I hear, I'm like my sister over here. I'm not from Garden City. I'm from Dallas, Texas. But from what I hear, this was the original farmers market. So, unfortunately, they have shut the doggone thing down.
Wait,
And
what?
yeah, they have shut down. It's hazardous to our health. They don't know if it's going to collapse on us. So originally we were going to have it at the farmers market, but we are right in the same vicinity. We're right across the street. So the address is 4107 8th Street. And it's right off of 80. If you know where the farmers market is off of 80, that's where we'll be on February the 11th. And the time is from 10 to 2. 10 to 2.
And this is free entry, is what you're
Yes.
at.
Free entry. And if you know of a vendor that still, you still have time, I'm still accepting vendors. And, sweets, of course, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So if you know someone that cakes and cookies and cupcakes and all of that kind of stuff, let me know. I'll give you my information. Phone number is 912-373-5964. And my email is Garden City Housing Team Inc. @gmail.com. I know that's long, but that's what it is.
Okay. And can you do me a favor and put your contact information in our chat? And Miss Lynn or Commissioner Bright, if you could also, Councilman Bright, if you could also put your contact information in the chat as well, just in case people have any more questions or need more information. Miss Northcutt, tell me, what do we have going on in Guyton, ma'am? What's going on in Guyton?
I'm Minister Sandra Northcutt, and I am a member of Royal Temple Holiness Church in Guyton, Georgia. Small rural area where we have a phenomenal group of people there that's all supportive of you, Kesha. So, but anyhow, we're going to have our Black History program on February 25th at 7 p.m. sharp. We will have an array of entertainment. We have performers. We have our Chatham County Chief Judge Harris Odell Jr., who will be our guest speaker. We'll also have Miss Kesha Gibson Carter, who we're all looking forward to hearing from you. We also have on program Pastor David Rivers of Mount Carmel Holiness Church in Range, Georgia. Again, we just have an array of musicians. We have Luis Cruz that's going to teach the whole dialect of the sound of music and the beating of the drums. So we have a good little program lined up.
Awesome. And tell us again, give us the address, and the day is February 25th at 7 o'clock p.m. And what is the location again? I think we lost her there a bit.
I got my pen and paper ready. What did she say?
I think she is buffering. And so while she works on rejoining us, I want now to have Miss Taylor Washington from Two Chefs. And not only do I want you to tell us about the Grand African Ball that you are right here in Savannah for Black History Month, I also want you to tell us a little bit about the new venture you have going on at the restaurant. I'm so excited for your Gullah Geechee cooking classes. But let's give this Northcutt just another minute or two to tell us again about the location, the date, and the time.
Okay. That location is Royal Temple Holiness Church in Guyton, Georgia. The address is 409 Samuel Smalls Jr. I'm sorry, Samuel Smalls Senior Avenue in Guyton, Georgia at 7 p.m.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're excited and we're looking forward to being with you. Okay, Miss Washington.
Miss Washington is one of my vendors. Woo!
I wish I could. I promise you, I wish I could. I want to be a part of so much, but unfortunately, it's during open hours here at Two Chefs, and I've been getting invites from Richmond Hill, all over, and unfortunately, right now it's just me and my husband, and this is real challenging. Not having that team where I can break off.
That's a blessing, actually.
It is. But I would love to be more in the community because that's who we are. We love to go out and give back, you know. And my hands are kind of tied this year. Um, Looking forward next year to be more involved. Um, Hopefully, I'm praying for that. So I'm gonna start with the cooking sessions. It's called Granny's Kitchen Table. Um, that I've been trying to put together for a while. And Kesha, she was on my back about it. You need to get it started. You need to get it started. So I finally got it started. And I had my first sessions in January, and it was wonderful. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to video. Actually, I didn't really took interest in doing it. I really enjoyed the people that were here. Didn't have the opportunity to pull out the phone anyway because they were so involved. Um, I'm looking for. I have some classes scheduled for February, but I believe I'm gonna have to reschedule those classes because it's a lot going on with this Grand African Ball. This Gullah Geechee Grand African Ball is like it's like a newborn baby, and I promise you, it's a lot of work. Um, Trying to put it together and make sure that it's successful and memorable. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to do this every year as long as I have breath in my body. This will be something that um, will take place in the city of Savannah. Ain't that right, Dr. Jamal?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Hey,
That's
Shay.
right.
So let me
Hmm.
give you a little touch up on it. It's the Gullah Geechee Grand African Ball. um I came up, it was just placed in my spirit when I saw the Charleston Grand African Ball and that I did attend, and it was lovely. um I saw a lot of stuff that I, wanted to change when I went there. I was like, wow, I want to add more culture to it, you know. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. Not sure, but I did it. I stepped out afraid. At first, before I did it, I called that guy right there, Dr. Jamal. Dr. Jamal was like, listen, I want to do this. What you think? He's like, listen, I think you should do it. So I was like, okay, cool. So I stepped out and I did it, and I'm telling you, it is awesome. Um, Sadly to say, it's a lot more people from out of state, more like Atlanta, that is purchasing tickets. I wish I could get more of Savannah involved. But the event is February the 25th here in Savannah at the Ralph Mark Gilbert Museum Annex Building, which is the Dr. Priscilla Thomas and Annex Building of the Ralph Mark Gilbert Museum. Um, It's so much. Dr. Jamal is going to be on there. We got the king from Oyotunji, Oba Kaviase. He's going to be there. We have an African artist, Okunalano. He will be performing. I mean, it's so much that's going to take place at this event that I'm so excited and so excited. I'm excited. Like,
What
uh,
time?
it starts at 7 p.m. We have open bar from 7 to 8 p.m. And the program will start shortly after that, because we do have a program. Dr. Jamal will be giving us some history, some of our culture, along with some African culture, music, dramas, dancing, and stuff like that. Of course, the cuisine. I could not be a part of. Unfortunately, I mean, a team member of mine, which is Cooks and Treats, Jordan Ish, will be doing the cooking for me. which is the African culture dish, which would be the the baked chicken with cooked down in a cream based tomato sauce with a little spice, the African spice with a little kick, because you know our culture they has spice. It's hot, not too hot, just enough, with some okra and tomatoes, and then we're gonna have a vegan dish. The tickets ranges from $50 up to $150. Of course, if you want to purchase the table, it's $875. Now, what comes with that? General $50 is general admission. That's just entry. $75 is dinner. $100 dinner and two drinks. $150 is dinner, two drinks, and a bottle of champagne. Now, if you purchase the table with six seats, we're gonna do 8 to 10. It depends on the person who purchases the table, but we're going to have dinner with that table, a bottle of champagne, a bottle, and you still get your two drinks. Um, the decor is going to be amazing. When I say this event has formed itself culturally, and I believe my ancestors is walking with me all the way with this because how things are just coming together. It's a lot of work, but it's coming together. I'm excited. You can purchase the tickets on Eventbrite, or you can purchase the tickets at Two Chefs, Gullah Geechee Soul Food Restaurant here in Savannah, 2007 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And we are here on Thursdays through Mondays from 12 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
And Mrs. Washington, this is a event, so people
Yes.
are encouraged to come out in their most festive,
Yeah,
finest attire.
absolutely. The
And then,
attire.
I
I'm trying
love
to, I
it.
really want to set a standard here because, for some reason our culture has been downplayed. And when I say that, I'm mostly amongst us. um, and I think a lot of it come with the lack of awareness of it. But we are grand people, we know how to step, and the culture is divinely royalty. So you just have to know where to seek. We just had a pop-up shop here on Saturday where Ogunalano, he has his own African attire. He came and it was successful. I mean, he sold his clothes. I mean, it was a lot of stuff that people wasn't interested in, but it was a lot of sales because a lot of people came in and they saw something different. We got Geechee Roots here in Savannah. Then we have the Touch of Africa here as well that's selling the attire. So
yes,
there's no
Miss
excuse. There's
Odessa over on Sunset Boulevard. I got to put this shot in, Miss Washington. Miss Odessa, Sunset Boulevard, A Touch of Africa. She's there Thursday through Saturday from 11 to 5.
no.
Is an octogenarian. She's 80 years old. She has been dressing Savannah's first ladies and elected officials in town for almost 40 years. And so she has been able to survive through COVID. But as you all know, it's more important to thrive than to survive. And so we want to help her out a little bit. So she has accessories, she has clothing for men and women, and
Mhm.
also has shoes and hats. And so, Taylor, your guy came with some very, very fine fabrics. Can we expect to see him again, or how can people look at his items? And he also can uh, or put together whatever dress or.
Right. To get it custom made, the deadline to turn that in is tomorrow. Um, I had quite a few people came today and got measured for their custom design. Um, his clothing wear is Ogunalano Closets, is OGUNLANO Closet.com. You can go on his website if you're interested I mean, you go on the website and pick out the fabric if you see what you like. And then if you can get in touch with me between now and the AM, I'm going to say by noon because I got to give it to him, the measurements and the pictures of what people want custom made to him by in the morning. He would be glad. But I mean, it may be something on his website that you want to purchase. But it was so successful on Saturday. He's planning on coming back February the 24th. he wants to do another one. He's going to bring different attire. He's going to bring, because he didn't think people were more into the royalty with the silk and the satin and the gele. That's mostly what people have been looking for, like myself. Now I was looking for that too. But he will be back February the 24th with some more attire here at Two Chef. We haven't discussed the time yet as far as what time that will be, but a flyer will be out if you want to kind of like just come and peek in and see what he got. I'm pretty sure people are going to have stuff by then, but some people do like to wait and see what they can get.
Okay. Well, I to have this event presented in Savannah, and we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge your host, Lady Mahogany, will be the host for that evening, as
Ashe.
as presentation by Dr. Jamal Amir Ture, and portion of the proceeds raised from this event will be donated to Ivory Bay
Ashe.
for the evening. So we're so excited, and we want to thank you for this vision, for bringing this event to Savannah. And now we want to hear from Dr. Amir Jamal Ture to
Yay.
Miss Lake, Councilman Bright, Miss Mona Lisa Monroe, Miss Washington, Miss Northcutt. It is my desire that as each of you listen to the events and the presentations, and Ms. Northcutt, if you could send me a flyer or some information on the event, if you have it, I'll post it on my social media platforms as well. But in the interim, if you all could go to, what is it, Our Black Media, or to the link that's on my page and type in your contact information so that people can reach out for more information. If there is something said here tonight, or if you think there may be an opportunity to connect beyond this platform, it is my desire that something here tonight shared will bring us closer together as a community. Port Wentworth, Guyton, uh, uh, Garden City, you're just a stone throw from Savannah. We are coastal empire. We are the low country, and there is so much rich history in this community. When I think about St. Patrick's Day of Savannah, which is one of my favorite holidays to celebrate as a Savannian, when I think about the Greek festival here in Savannah that has some of the tastiest cuisine, I love the baklava. Think about how proud individuals are from that heritage. I think about how excited they become and how they are not concerned with what anybody thinks about who they are. All that matters during their festive holiday is that they are embracing their culture. I've said before, as I sat through a sermon, a church service at the cathedral during a St. Patrick's Day celebration, and I heard Bishop Boland say that we all come from various backgrounds and experiences, some heritage and culture. We don't find very much to be proud of, and sometimes it provides some shame. But what he did encourage the individual in that church that day to do was to find the good in your culture, in your heritage. Find the good in your culture, in your heritage, embrace it and share it. And so we know that we have and we embrace and we share a culture that is rich in love from the very foundation of who we are. And so much of the foundation of others was built on the backs of our people. And so I don't know how anyone um, cannot celebrate it, cannot embrace it. But it's so good that we have come together tonight, and each of you from your prospective places around Chatham County in the coastal region, you found a way to share it. And for that, I want to say thank you. Dr. Ture, as we close and pull all this together, we know that you have been on the front lines of advocacy and bringing into focus not only the importance of our culture, of our history and our heritage, and you've been doing a fine job on those Black History Moments on WSAV and some of the other outlets that you are connected with. But we know right here in Savannah that our culture, that we hold so much value of, that which caused so much pain, um, the weeping time. We saw how a super African American majority council voted to desecrate that land, where now it's tied up in court. We see what's happening to the sacred ground of Yamakra. We see what is happening as our very culture, where our tourism industry is concerned, is now under threat and being pimped. Dr. Ray, tell us about some of your current work, and I want you to do in the way that you do, bring all of this into focus in terms of what you've heard here tonight, sir.
And greetings, glad to be here with the family. Always glad to be with the family. I love the family. And see, I'm on my best behavior. I'm acting nice right now. See, I'm being nice. You know, that's because I was over in Garden City tonight. I was at Garden City City Council meeting. I was over there and saw our sister Mona Lisa Monroe over there, who made me give her all types of information. So we were happy to be there. And what you said, all over Keisha Gibson Carter, you threw out some things about the absolute disrespect of who we are as a people, and it's done by us. And I tell folks, those are elements of self-hatred. These people, and I tell people, y'all know I talk about this all the time. It does not matter about titles or positions. That mean nothing. If you don't like yourself, it don't matter that you got a title or position. When you love yourself, then you love the people who look like you, because that's natural. All living things like and appreciate the things that are like them. And then they can go ahead and then go and help other creatures that may not be like them. And so with that, you know, and it's kind of shameful. So as we say, the work, we just were yesterday with some young people who heard the story, who heard the call that was made over a year ago by KJ, that's KJ Brooks and myself, talking about the displacement of African Americans and that the loss of our communities. And so, but it resonated in them. The seed was planted in them. So then that's when we then addressed some things that we received information coming out of Atlanta about tours that are being done by SCAD that of Black history. But then when you look at it honestly, when you look at it, you're going to say, wait a minute, you're going to talk about Black history when we see that you kicked us out of these neighborhoods? That is shameful. That is problematic. And so again, that's just like with Native Americans. You kill off Native Americans, but now you telling the story. You are saying, you claiming it for yourself right now. So we did that on yesterday, and we're proud to see. But now, surprisingly, most of the people who were there did not look like us. But that is nothing wrong with that, because that's one of the things. You plant the seed in other people for them to go forward. So that was one of the things. And then tonight in Garden City, being in Garden City, and then witnessing, what I did tell them, although when Keisha Gibson called yesterday, I said that the wiping out of Black communities is connected to the weeping time. I told them that on yesterday. I said that is connected to the weeping time. And then I told them, you know what is so fitting? I said, where you all holding this protest at, you're on the corner of Turner Boulevard and MLK Jr. Boulevard. You know, and people know about Dr. King, but some people don't know about the father of liberation theology. That's Bishop Turner. Bishop Turner is the father of liberation theology. Ain't James called them, and he was in Savannah, Georgia. So the street is named for him. So again, and Bishop Turner fought for us his entire life until he died. In fact, throw something out there. Bishop Turner had a sermon in the 1800s and 1900s, which he said, God is a Negro. Basically, God is an African. And he said, as long as the Negro think that God is white, they shall always think that the devil is black and think that they favor the devil. So he was now getting Black folks to understand, you better identify your higher power with you. And so we were right there when they did it. And then back of where the protest was held, it was at an old trailway bus station that was segregated. The area for Black folks to sit in was probably on the size of the room that some of y'all are in right now. So we were right there. And so when we went there to, again, Garden City, Tasha, just like the Weeping Time experience, that again, here goes something tied to American history tied to Civil War history, and you have black folks who don't respect it. No matter what you say, yo, check this out. They don't respect themselves and love themselves, because I'm gonna say this right here to you, that if I ain't got to be a rebel, I ain't got to be trying to celebrate being a rebel or being a Mustang up in Effingham County. What I need to be celebrating right now and acknowledging in Effingham County, I need to celebrate being a Panther or a Pantherette. Why did I throw that out there? Because Springfield Central High School won state championships. The girl team and the boys teams at Springfield Central High School. But some of us don't know that. That's why you got to have a program like that in Guyton. Because again, Springfield Central High School, the Panthers and the Pantherettes won multiple state championships. They were dominant in basketball. So I got to throw it on out there. That's why you got to go there. That's right. See, we represent what we do. And so then, then I got to be about happy discovery. I got to have that happy discovery. You know what that happy discovery is? It's some ancestral land that is not in Garden City. It's part of that 5 Mile Bend. Happy Discovery, one of the areas of our ancestors. If the land was called Happy Discovery, that tell you right there what the deal is. And Brampton and White Oak and Oak Hill. That's our story. That's why you got to celebrate in Garden City. Then you're going over, and then you got to go and say, I'm going to say it just like this. When my people coming from Hilton Head Island are coming from coming from Hilton Head, coming from Beaufort, coming from Bluffton, coming from Fisherville, from Low Bottom, coming from Levy, coming from Hardyville, Ridgeland, they coming through a place that we know as Port Woodworth. So even though y'all might talk about sundown, those of us coming out of Carolina, guess what? We still going to go right through that, because that's how you came in. You didn't come across the bridge of which is now Highway 17. You had to come that route and come into Savannah. My people still talk about that right now. I remember even going that route at time when the bridge went out. They said, we got to go the old way right now. So that's why we got to celebrate. When we talk about stand up, we got to not just stand up for America. We got to stand up for African-American history. We got to stand up for that. That's what that power is about. That's what we're going to do. And then guess what? When it comes down to it, when you want to talk about African-American history, you got to talk about this connection right here. You got to come to this area right here, because we are the homeland. We are the holy land of African America. And so because we're the holy land of African America, we got to celebrate our Africanity. That's our humanity. We got to celebrate our Africanness. We got to have that ball to let people showcase who we are. And now I'm going to throw it out there to you. Some of y'all may not realize that. I ask people at time, I say, what is the largest Gullah Geechee city in the world? People like, Charleston. They're going to say Myrtle Beach. They might say Georgetown. I say Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida. The largest Gullah Geechee city in the world. So then I hear people with that. So they live in Jacksonville.
Florida.
Huh?
It's the largest Gullah Geechee
city in the world.
Wow.
Jacksonville, Florida. Yes, Jacksonville. That's right. But a lot of people don't know that, all the women. So then guess what I do now? Because some people have been around me, and when I throw it out there, they always say Jacksonville. They be like, okay, because they think they got Jamal. But Jamal always got something up his sleeve. Then I hit him with this right here. I said, what is the second largest Gullah Geechee city in the world? Savannah, Georgia.
Wow.
Heard what I just said, Savannah, Georgia. I ain't had to say, I'm just throwing out there. I ain't had to say Bloomingdale. I ain't had to say Sandfly. I ain't say Montgomery. I ain't say Pinpoint. It is Savannah, Georgia, the second largest in the entire world. But see, we don't even know that. That's why I tell people, I say, see, but we trying to act like we all of that. So now that's why I tell people, so stop running to other places and understand the power and the glory is right here with us. When you understand that, you walk with the light. You walk in the light, and everybody else see you, and then you got the power. So yes, ma'am. So that's why all of you must do this right here, ma'am.
Come on, preach.
And that's what we do. See, that's what people don't understand. It's the spirit. Just like when my sister Taylor or Morleo talk about it, that'll tell people understand. People know me for a long time. They say, listen here, it's the ancestors and the Most High coming to Jamal. When he doing all this right here, see, people don't understand it. It ain't me. It's them. Because guess what? Because I love me. I love them. They love me. And so guess what? I'm able to love my brothers and my sisters. I'm able to throw it out there. I'm able to talk about B. Moore. I just told me about B. Moore and Fred Gray. But I told him, I said, guess what? If you told the story and B. Moore like you should have been telling the story, you wouldn't have no issues in Baltimore because you had black folks right there telling their children. Guess what? The first lunch counter demonstration took place in Baltimore. Morgan State University, Morgan State College back in the day, they were the ones that told folks, say, hey, listen, these white folks don't want us shopping in their stores, then we're going to hit them in the pockets. boycott the businesses. And they do that before Greensboro, North Carolina, and Durham, North Carolina. And it was the college students. It was our young people. That's why we must tell our story. And now I'm gonna just throw it out there. Y'all know I joke about this, but then I'm gonna say that I got mad respect for Rufus Wright. Why is that? Because there was a school that they did not want us at. They didn't want us at Savannah High, did not want us at Groves, and they did not want us at Jenkins. So they were riots at Jenkins. And that's why I tell him I have respect for him. He gets on my nerves, but I gotta show him respect. Because he was a part of the group of people that when they went at them at Jenkins, people trying to intimidate them, grown adults going after these black teenagers, and then their mamas and daddies had to stand up and say, we're just going to stand up for them. Much like a mother to all of us right now, that's our alderwoman. The role that she is fulfilling is the role of the ancestors that have always been there. She has just moved into the seat. And some people understand when our family members pass away, we say it's the changing of the seat. And you, my alderwoman, have been sitting in the seats that the others who've gone on to that ancestral realm. You fulfilling that. And see, people don't want to talk about that and understand that. That's why I say it becomes our job to tell them this. That's why we got to do that in Guyton. That's why we got to do that in Port Wentworth. That's why we got to do that in Garden City. That's why we got to do that in Savannah. We got to do that on MLK Jr. Boulevard. We got to celebrate who we are. We got to make sure that Port Worth understand that, again, it's not just about stand up America. It's stand up black folks. It's stand up the culture, because our culture is multicultural. We're African, and African has Latinos, African, Asians, all a part of our story. And that's the melange of who we are. That's the gumbo who we are. And that's the beauty of it. And we love gumbo. We enjoy gumbo. And so guess what? That's all of us. That's family. That's love.
I love it.
That's thinking we don't care about Iron Phi Theta. He ran talking about fraternity came from Morgan State. We ain't talking about that. They wasn't around there, Chuck Fagan. Oh my God. See, I was trying to act right. See how he made me come out the box?
Yeah, I think it doesn't have anything to do with the ancestors. So we're gonna stop right there, sir. Thank you. Miss Washington, can gumbo be gumbo without okra?
Absolutely not. Okra is what makes the gumbo. Now, you can put other stuff in it. My grandmama, she docked hers up because she's from Pinpoint, which was the seafood land, and she, from what I'm told, okay, from where I'm growing up, because a lot of people say okra soup is one way and okra gumbo is another way. Now, okra soup, from where I was raised, is with the okra, the corn, the string beans, the lima beans. That's the soup. Now, the okra gumbo is the okra, the tomatoes, and my grandmama, she would add, the pork meat, which is the your little strip or pigtails or whatever, and then she add her crab and she add her shrimp, to it. You know what I'm saying? So that was gumbo. Now, there to me is no right or wrong way. Is what it is. Now, unfortunately, I can't enjoy it anymore. But when I did, I ate it. I loved it. So okra, gumbo, soup, whatever you want to call it, is the same.
Okay. So tell me, leave us with a little bit of something. How do you make roux? How would you suggest?
Well, roux is made with butter, 1 part butter, 1 part flour. A lot of people use oil. I'm not going to say that's right or wrong because that's the way they've been taught, and what you do is you cook the flour. Now, we do know that flour has different levels of cooking elements. It goes from one stage into the next, and you have to moderize it. You have to cook it slow or you will burn it, because it'll go from one stage straight to burn. So with that, when you mix in the butter and the flour, you want to have an equal part. Not too much flour, not too much butter. You want to have an equal part where it's caramelizing. And when you get to the browning of the flour, the roux, it has an almond scent. It smells really, really good. Now you can add your onions into it. Now what we do, we use hot water, because it's not good to put cold water on hot element, because it causes it to
Hot water is the secret.
Hot water. Because
Okay.
if you put cold water onto a hot element, it's gonna bubble up, it's gonna thicken, it's gonna curdle. It's not gonna be good. Okay. So you can either boil your water or you can boil your chicken stock. We are known to cook with chicken stock, but unfortunately, cooking for masses, we can't cook it that way because a lot of people can't have the chicken stock or the beef stock. So we just cook with water. And then you season it to taste with some salt and pepper. And you taste it as it go. And as it go, you get it to the consistency that you want. The right consistency is nappe, meaning that it sticks to the back of the spoon. When you take it, it drips off. But you still got some element of the root on your spoon. I would do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see if Alicia would let me come on her show.
I think that's great.
And I would do that. Hopefully we can do it here at the restaurant where she can have her show here. Maybe we can see if we can make that happen. It'll be better for me to be here because I won't have to travel with everything there. But we'll do it right here inside the dining room because I have the utensils to set it up in here from the cooking class and show people
That would be
the way to
great.
fix it. Yes.
Yes.
And
yes.
I want you there, Dr. Jamal, doing the Gullah Geechee history talk.
Well, you know what? I want to say that Dr. Teray is a disciple of 2717, which means his body is undefiled. So he can come and participate by offering in verbal expressions, but he's not allowed to partake of because he's a true disciple. Now, Dr. Teray, and
That's
also
fine. That's fine. I'll just smell it.
Dr. Teray, and
Go ahead.
and I want to say as we close, and I want to thank you all so much again. And as I stated earlier, um, I hope it was something, Mr. Washington. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, with your hand made.
Okay, listen now.
You want to say something, Keisha?
Or
One thing.
wait, the only thing I want you to say is, do you currently have any peach cobbler, sir?
Well,
Is there
no, but I can tell you this thing. When you're doing the rules, you got to make sure that you clarify the butter, or you will burn it.
what is
We'll have
clarify?
a class on that.
Okay, tell me, how do I clarify the butter?
When you that was a step that I was gonna wait to then, but it's easy. You just you melt the butter in the pot. The clarifying is the separating the water from the butter, and the water and the fat. Okay,
Gotcha.
so normally it rises to the top once it's melted. Melt it properly, not on high. You have to melt it on low and let it melt. And as it's melting, the fat in the water will rise to the top. And then you just take a spoon and you skim the fat off and separate it. And now you got clarified butter. It's really, really simple. It's not hard at all. But that would have been one of the steps that I would show first. And then we will go into the roux. And then
Now,
I want to do many stages of the roux. Because you got the white, you got the light, you got the medium brown, you got the dark brown. I would have went through the different stages and what you can use with each stage. Because believe it or not, the gumbo has roux in it.
not that gumbo I had on Saturday.
Okay. All right.
Listen, I'm pretty
That
sure.
girl went to Jenkins High School. That's where she learned it. Then she went to Johnson. That girl went to Jenkins High School.
Oh
Like
goodness.
Keisha Gibson Carter was there too. Then transferred to Savannah State. I mean Savannah High.
Dr. Teray, this is my show. On my show, you're the only supposed to tell the truth on my show.
But that's what give it the consistency, the not watery, but the little semi thickness, that's what gives it that.
Well,
Um,
this
I'm
is an
definitely wanting to hear that chef class.
yeah,
That class is gonna be the bomb.
yes,
yeah.
it is. I know it will. I'm really trying to put. I guess after the African ball, I'll be putting more time and effort in it because I promise you, it's a lot of people pulling. Um, for the class, they definitely want it. And I would like to try to do at least twice a week. Um, do 2 classes twice a week, maybe 2 classes a day. People want the recipes and stuff like that. I can give you the recipes. I just won't give you the secrets. But that's just the part, because I mean, believe it or not, all
Mhm.
all recipes are basics. It's just like we take them and make them personal. You know what I'm saying? We make it unique. And you have to get that recipe and make it unique for yourself, you know? So I
And
don't
if you
have a problem with that.
don't measure anything, I don't measure. I'm a pretty good cook, but I don't
My grandmother didn't measure anything, and that was one of the
always
things.
hard for me to share my recipes because I'm like, I just put some of this and a pinch of that and a little bit of this.
Well, see, that's why Gullah Geechee people are called dash cookers, because it's all in the hand. We don't use measuring cups here. It's all
In
about
the
in the
spirit.
street.
In the spirit.
Right. You're right. You kind of like, and I know my ancestors here, and I know my husband's ancestors here with us, because we can feel them in the kitchen sometimes. You're like, you don't do that. I'm like, what I did that? Oh, I didn't put enough. Or I might forget something. It's like, look, you need to
Yeah.
go over there and get that. But we don't measure anything. Everything is in the hand. It's a handshake. And watching my grandmother and eyeballing what she did is what made me learn. It took some time to get it to that taste, and then we went back to school to become certified chefs to incorporate the art of cooking. So now we got the art, and then we got the wisdom of the ancestors, and then we just join it together, and that's what makes it great.
Well, I'm so excited, and I love to hear you talk about the ancestors, how you channel them in the kitchen. It
Oh
serves
yeah,
a mission for me,
I have
and
to.
that my mom had a stroke when I was young. She lost
Mm.
one side of her body, and
Oh.
so became cook in the family. And I don't particularly ever remember my mom sitting me down and showing me or telling me how to cook. And it's
Hmm.
just in the kitchen when she cooked, or running through the house. But it was just something about when that time came to make it happen, it just happened. And so now I know my ancestors are with me, and I definitely feel them. My husband talks about how I go way back whenever I cook chitlins for Thanksgiving. I do.
Okay now.
I'm not listen. I'm owning it. It's my culture. It's my culture.
Okay. Ashay.
So when I was only once a year, because I can't do it much more than that. But I clean them outside, and I do the first boil outside first. And I gotta tell you, there is something about being outside in a little bit of chilly weather and going through that process where I literally I feel my folks, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Folks.
Oh yeah.
It is
They
definitely
be there.
real. And listen, Dr. Teray, you said something that I am humbled by. And I have always been dismissive of, because you've said it more than a couple of times, and that is that I am fulfilling a role of sorts of carrying our people. And in as much as I'm humbled by that, it also scares me, because I know with that comes a great deal of responsibility. Nonetheless, we are here, and we do not feel worthy, but we are encouraged. We are encouraged because, in the words of my dear colleague and alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely, God chose us for such a time as this.
Ashay.
And I am so glad to be one of those vessels and one of those voices who don't know it all, but who have the courage and the heart to go forth in a way in which inspires and encourages others. And for that, I am grateful. And it is my prayer that someone will see and hear and be inspired by the Dr. Therese of the world, by the Pat Guns of the world, by the Vonette Walker Goods of the world. And it's so the Johnny Browns of the world. There are so many historians, um, Sister Roz, I'm going to get in trouble because I'm calling names now, but of you who are out there carrying forth our history and our legacy. And it just scares me as we are in the midst of these critical race theory initiatives and efforts, who will come behind you. And so to my guest tonight, I am encouraging you. I am encouraging you to be a part of the change that you want to see, to be a part of the sustainability of our culture that we want to see. And the only way we can do that is you now have to make this type of work, Juneteenth, Kwanzaa, African American History Month, you now have to make it a lifestyle all year in your homes with your children, with your children. So as we close tonight, I want to thank each of you for doing collectively what I want you to recognize. We do a lot of what's called networking in this community. I'm not a huge fan of networking events because it's basically about takers. I go to see what I can get. But what I want to encourage each of us to do as we go forth in 2023 is to be more deliberate and be more intentional about our relationships and our connections. When we are deliberate and when we are intentional about our relationships and our connections with people who look like us and who do not look like us, what we then are a part of is what I call net weaving. It is far more important to net weave than to network, because when we net weave, we are forming bonds and connections that cannot be broken. And we're not simply seeking to get, but we are seeking to give for the greater good. Listen, I want to thank each of you for being here with me tonight. I love you.
Thank you.
And Curtis Washington went to Georgia. He went to Jenkins, then transferred to Georgetown High. Curtis Washington went to Jenkins, then went to Georgetown High. He had played football for Jenkins, then transferred because again he was a freshman. Why y'all gotta do me like that? Why y'all gotta do me like that, Mr. Producer? See.
Oh goodness.
And we look forward to seeing each of you.
Yes. And thank you so much, Kesha. I really appreciate, and I look forward to net weaving with you all as well.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Like that.